Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. I bet you guys can guess what we're doing today. Let's do a little get ready with me car style. It is officially back to school. At least my kids are in school. I feel like I sometimes forget the reason why I started wearing this makeup was because I had no time. I lived in a car line or at bus stop or all the things, and I'm like, when I needed to get myself together, I didn't have the time to spend a lot of time in my bathroom or at my vanity. And so that's why I started wearing these creams in the first place. So we're gonna do a little get ready with me. I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks on how do you get the best results when you're in a hurry and in the car without a sink, without being able to wash your hands, all of those things. So yeah, let's do this. Keep watching if you want to check it out, and be sure to hit like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. All right, friends, let's get into it. I apologize, the lighting, it's all natural, I can tell you that. I feel like there's like beautiful sun flares going across the screen, not on my face, but across where the camera is. So hopefully you guys can see. You might be able to see far better than normally. Let's hope so. So let's focus on car makeup or on the go. If you're traveling, I never realized what a saving grace this, maybe I should turn down the air a little so you guys can hear me better. Sorry, the car is on because it is 100 degrees today. Sorry, I am not going to try to put on my makeup while sweating. That might be difficult. So, air conditioner's still on. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm pretty sure it's going through Bluetooth, so hopefully my voice is loud enough. Okay, what was I saying? Traveling, just in general, having really easy makeup and not even needing a makeup bag. So right now I just grabbed this. We haven't had the clutch for quite some time. I'm praying that that comes back eventually, new and improved. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's amazing. I used to always do my makeup with the clutch in car line. I've done it at stoplights. I've done it, so it makes it so easy when you have makeup that you only need one hand for. I've done my makeup one-handed, blindfolded on here before. It's just very simple. So quick, not having to open bottles, not having to open close a bunch of stuff is kind of the name of the game and the reason why I started wearing this makeup in the first place. Everything else that has been like bonus is now why I love it while I'm at a different stage in my life. Like now I have maturing skin and I need it to look natural, and I don't want heavy cakey makeup, and I don't want to look older, and all of the added skin benefits and all the things it's done for me is just gravy, right? So let's get back to really fast, really quick, really easy portable makeup. So I have everything in this brush roll that I need to do my full face. I would probably pack a little bit more if I was actually traveling. I'm not going to use these items today, but I wanted to show you two things I would bring if it wasn't just like grab, run in the car. Like if I was traveling, I would grab my Perfector. This is the Travel Perfector. You guys know my love for the Perfector, and I love this because it can kind of clip on your bag. I have a makeup bag that I'll just clip it on the zipper. And then the Travel Setting Spray is also really handy. In fact, this is really good to keep in your car so you do have a water source. I know it's not water, but this would make it'd make the last step a lot easier. I'm going to show you how I do it when you don't have any setting spray and you don't have the perfector. I'm going to show you my tip. But my favorite is actually a dampened perfector. And I would travel with this, obviously. When I travel, I'm going to use this and I'll just dampen it in the hotel bathroom or whatever. But if I'm running out the door and I just need like 5-minute makeup, who actually brings their perfector fully dampened? I don't. Maybe some of you guys do, but I don't. You can use this and dampen your perfector in the car. It is not my favorite way because it tends to, I feel like always, if you just spray directly on it and then go in with your then go in to use it, it typically pulls off too much and you'll leave patches. It is too damp in that way because it's directly applied. It isn't like completely preparing this in the best way. I never like the way my makeup looks when I do that. It's a personal preference, but that is an option if you do have both. You want to keep them in the car. If you are a frequent getting ready in the car person, that might be a good idea. For me, it's not every day. It's usually like, it used to be a lot more often when I didn't have kids riding the bus. Now that they're on the bus, I will usually be like, okay, while I'm waiting for the bus at bus stop, I'm going to grab this because I got to go straight to a doctor's appointment. And like the mornings in our house are very crazy because we've got kids at different times and schedules. So it's like a large period of time is like devoted to trying to get ready and out the door, you know? I'm sure I'm not alone. Enter the brush roll. All you do is fold up. I like to put my compact right on top. And then in this little pouch, it's not even a pouch, there's 2 flaps. And I know some people are like, oh, how do you keep them in there? But the key is just put your big brushes, like the blush bronzer. I got my powder brush on the other side. Keep your big brushes on the outside and all of your skinny little brushes that could fall out on the inside. And then I throw in my mascara and my eyeshadow primer as well. I even threw in my secret weapon, which I'll show you in a minute when we get to that step. So there it is. That's my full face. And that way you can just kind of lay it out on the counter. In the car, I don't have a towel or the ability to, you know, wash my hands at the sink. So I am not going to use my hands. The finger method is fantastic when you're at your bathroom, in your bathroom, at your bathroom sink, whatever the case may be. But I do not want to like dip my fingers into creams and put it on my face and then where am I going to wipe it? On my car? No. On my pants? No. So I use brushes. And so the key is being able to really easily grab your brushes and go. And so I just threw these in here and this is everything I need to do my face. If you are traveling like in an actual airplane and not just the car, you can literally take this whole thing. You would not be able to put your mascara or your eyeshadow primer. But if, say, you just had these, this doesn't even have to come out as security. These are creams. They're not liquids. These could be confiscated if they're not in, what do they say, a clear quart-sized bag. I have traveled dozens of times with my creams. In fact, I've taken my entire artist kit before in the airplane, in my carry-on. I don't even take it out. It's never once even like, they've never once even like asked me to take it out or been flagged or anything, which is amazing. So carry-on approved. I get asked that all the time. TSA approved. Now these guys could be, so I would say if you are just bringing a carry-on, put these in a Ziploc bag with whatever toiletries you have just to be safe. But these don't need to be in a quart-sized bag. So you could bring your 30, 60, however big size palette you have in your collection. And I've thrown those in my laptop bag and carried it all on. which is fantastic. So for the sake of the car, we're just gonna use this, and I'm gonna start per normal. I'm just gonna lay this in my lap, which is also nice because it kind of keeps my lap clean, because it fits my lap perfectly. And you guys know me, I'm gonna start with my eyeshadow primer. Now, I did my skincare earlier this morning, and so it has already fully absorbed. It was, you know, I did my full morning routine and ended with my SPF. Today I used Glow Screen, of course. It is still my ride or die, no matter how many I test. I love it. All right, I'm getting hot. Sorry guys, I'm turning on my seat air conditioning because I'm sweating. Oh, it's like car air conditioning can't even keep up when it's 100. Where is fall? I figured the next Get Ready With Me is gonna have to be fall inspired, but I am not feeling it yet. I really want it to be fall, but Missouri does not want it to be fall quite yet. So the great thing about this method is you can fit a pretty good sized palette. Now I do recommend the ones that are more long, more so than like the Demi palettes that are more square, because it fits the brush roll better. But I've got the triple, which is what, a 20, what is this one, 27? I should know that by now. So I've got all of my, let's see, these are my foundation shades. I got highlights, contour, lip liner, illuminator, and bronzers. And then I've got, no wait, what was that? Oh, those were 2 contours, just kidding. My lip liner's on this side with my balm, and all of my lip and cheek selections. You guys know I need some options. And that's really great because it gives me a whole layer for eyeshadows, my powder, and my brush cleaning towel. That way, if for some horrible reason I drop this bad boy and I break some eyeshadows, they're not gonna get into my creams to where I'm gonna have to dig out and waste my creams. So having all your eyeshadows on one level is really nice, just in case. And it gives you a lot of great options as well. Now, which brushes did I choose? I'll be honest, brushes are not something I skimp on. Yes, I could do my whole face in with one brush, but do I want to? No, it doesn't matter how quick I want to do my face. I don't feel like using one brush is any faster than using 2. It's just my personal opinion, but I've also had years of practice, and so for a beginner you might not feel that way, but for me, the tools take you from a 2 to a 10. Like, our tools are amazing, and you just cannot replicate the results our tools can give from any other brushes, or using your fingers, or attempting to try it with a tool that might not be for that particular purpose. So in my opinion, brushes are key. It's how I'm able to put my makeup on faster, and not have to blend as much after. I can blend as I go, and it's one of the reasons why I can put my makeup on really quickly, no matter my application method. So I did pick the, of course, blush and bronzer and the blend brush for my highlights. Detail all the way, always and forever for my contour. Powder brush for my powder. And then I just went ahead and grabbed one of every, did I do one? Oh, just kidding. Almost one of every brush. Line brush, only thing I use for my brows. Eyeshadow brush, I can't put my eyeshadow on without this brush. And then I did grab 2 multitaskers because I use one for my lips and I use one for my eyes, and then a smudge brush just in case. Now, do I need all of those brushes? Probably not. I can not line my lips. I could easily not put on eyeliner, but I have to do my brows, and if I'm doing any kind of eyeshadow, I at least need the eyeshadow brush. So yes, you could pare these down if you wanted to. That's the key. All right, by now my eyeshadow primer has set, so now I can go ahead and start with my face, and we're gonna go ahead and what kind of look do we want today? I feel like my face is, I'm so hot still that maybe my air needs to be turned down. What's the temperature? Guys, I got a new car recently, so I still don't know how to work everything. It's as low as it'll go. I feel like my face is so flushed that I'm pulling darker and more red than I looked earlier today, but that's okay. So let's go for fast. There's all kinds of different techniques if you're really going quick, depending on your face and like what is most important to you. So for me, if I needed the absolute fastest ever, I know my non-negotiables. My non-negotiables is my color corrector, my brows, and either, if I'm not gonna contour, I will at least bronze. And if I use a bronzer, I technically could get away with no lip and cheek. Do I ever not wear a lip and cheek? No, because that's the fun part. But I could easily just, lip and cheek for me takes 2 seconds to press on and then rub a little on my lips and I'm good. So my non-negotiables are gonna be a little bit of coverage to even out and my brows. So sometimes I will actually start with my brows because, no joke, sometimes they take me longer than a lot of other things on my face do. And so if I am pressed for time, I'll start there. So I am gonna go ahead and do my brows. Let's see if I do this, can you guys see? No, I'm gonna have to use the camera, which might be difficult because there's no mirror in this level. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use the line brush, my Trust eyeshadow, and when I'm being really quick, I tend to just go one line to the top, that one line to the bottom, all the way to the highest part of the arch. Then we're gonna do it again, tail, arch to tail, take what's remaining on the brush and just start blending that in, like so. And then I'm gonna take and flip the brush over and do some brow strokes. Oh my gosh, I cannot see. Sorry guys, a little unfortunate circumstance. My phone just literally turned off and said it was too hot and had to cool down before it would work again. So I had to move you guys a little bit closer because you're sitting in the sun. I'm telling you guys, it's too stinking hot. Well, now I can kind of see a little bit better. Sorry, you guys are all up close and personal. So then all you do is take your spoolie. I did already do this side while I was waiting for my phone to, I had to sit it in the air conditioning. There you go. Okay, I did brows real quick. Now those are done, and now I can just say, okay, now I want to even out my skin tone, give myself a little bit of coverage on my darkest points. I'm going to start with the brush that's going to cover the most surface area the fastest. I guess I can scoot back a little bit. I forgot my seat moves. So I'm in frame. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with my corrector first. To me, it is far important to use my corrector. Like, the less makeup I want to be able to see on my face, the more corrector I will use. For me, that works for my skin tone. Now, if your skin tone is very far away from your corrector shade, then it doesn't matter. You're gonna still have to use very little of your corrector, but I can use a little bit more of my corrector and be able to use less of my main, because there isn't a huge difference between these two colors. And so I've learned over the years that if I skip my corrector and I just go with my main, ooh, I have a way worse coverage, longevity, all of those things. And it looks actually more like makeup because it's too light for some areas of my face. So I'm going to just tap, tap, tap. Oh gosh, it's so hot in here, guys. Look at that. It's so hot, my creams are getting melty. Okay, I'm gonna take some of that off my face, or at least I'm gonna try. And this is why it's so hard if you pick up too much product. It's so hard to distribute it. Look at that. It's so hard to move it around your entire face. Okay, that's better. Whew, scared me for a second. All right, so now I'm gonna take just that little bit I dipped into and buff. Okay, small circles, a little bit of pressure to kind of, you know, because sometimes the meltiness works against us. Okay, I'm just gonna barely touch over here, make sure I have enough. So, lesson learned. You're in a really hot car. Barely touch. Like, you thought you barely touched it before. I feel like I'm barely touching it. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So, let's hit the high points. Making sure this is gonna help even out overall, but when it's nice and melty like that, it goes on real smooth when you buff. Sometimes the difference in climate, depending on where you live or the time of the year, it really can affect your creams. Like, I know I have some people who are in really cold, dry climates, and in winter, like, they almost have to like blast it with a hairdryer for a second, or it's just so hard. It's hard to pick up on the brush. This is the opposite. If you live where it is sweltering, you won't need much at all. So there you go. All I did was hit the high points. So forehead, nose, cheeks, chin. Now I'm gonna go in with my blend brush because I love this end so much. And then I'm just gonna get those small points that I can't ever reach. And those are and it's not that every part of your skin has to be completely covered. I'm not saying that, but those smaller points are usually, like, the small areas of your face are usually where you have darker points of your face anyway. Broken capillaries, like, if you look at me without makeup, this part of my face is one of the darkest points on my face because that's where all my broken capillaries and redness stem from. Inner corners of my eyes, can't reach that with that big end, and that again is an area that is dark. Not on everyone, but if it is, you have to make sure you hit that with that darker shade first, or your lighter shade won't cover it. Okay, so I like to, my melasma mustache, I've got, you can probably really see it here. This entire area of my chin, like on both sides of my chin, just has more texture. It is actually lighter than the areas around it. It doesn't matter. If I put my normal mane there, it emphasizes texture. Any lighter shade is always going to emphasize the natural texture of your skin. It's just the nature of it. But you want to make it less obvious, go darker, always. So I always hit that with a darker shade. So this goes for blemishes, acne scarring, pores, any skin texture. That is the rule with this makeup. I like to build up here. I've got a lot of hyperpigmentation right around my eye sockets and my eyelids. So already primed. The only way to get rid of the discoloration on my eyelids is to use a color corrector. I've never found any kind of eye primer that can do it for me. Not yet. If you know of one, I'd love to see, because none of them have worked on me and enabled my me to be able to wear eyeshadow without creasing and giving good longevity. That's the key. I need all of those things for oily eyelids. Okay, since I did my brows already, I like to use this small end just so I can get up to the brows and not wipe off any color on them. Okay, and then it's just under eyes. So for me, this is just my color corrector, and if I am light-handed enough, I can get away with only one shade. Is it my best possible look? No, but it evens me out enough that I could. Okay, but y'all know me. I need a little more. I'm just going to go in with a touch with this fluffy brush. Now, this brush probably isn't as fast as going back in with the blush and bronzer brush, but for as little as I want, because I feel like I got really good coverage with just my mango, I'm just trying to tone down some of this. My rosacea actually, it tends to only fluctuate because my skincare has got it under control. It only fluctuates in heat. And so does my melasma here. It's all heat-based. Don't give me a glass of wine and put me outside on the summer patio, because it's like, whoosh, it just like pops out. You won't see me like that. That is my nemesis. I've learned the hard way. So I'm just gonna use enough of Sandy, I'm using Sandy today, to tone down and give extra coverage where I need it on some of those areas, like my dark spots around my eyes. My nose a little bit. And since I don't have this to help me, it can be really difficult to use this brush, which in my opinion, even trying to pick up the least amount possible usually tends to be more medium coverage. It can be really hard to be able to use this brush and not have to use your perfector if you're layering in any manner to build up coverage. It's hard for it not to look makeup-y. I think right now it still looks like skin. So in this case, sometimes I will skip my brightener, or I will just brighten maybe right there where I have the most depth, and I call it a day. Like, I don't want to look cakey just to get a little extra pop of brightening when my skin looks nice and even and still looks like skin. I just don't want to risk it looking cakey. So I'm gonna skip that. If I had to skip something, it would probably be my brightener. I'd say on a day-to-day, when I'm in a hurry, that's one that would go first. Since I can't decide if I should contour or just do bronzer, I'm gonna do my new Happy Medium, which is using Cedar, which is way warmer than my normal contour, Astoria, and I'm going to go ahead and, oh gosh, I can tell it's warm. It got on there really easily. I barely had to touch it. So I'm gonna use Cedar to contour because it gives me a lot of warmth to where I don't feel like I necessarily need both. And so it really depends on what color you're using. And if you're using a warm contour, meaning cedar, olive, stone, I'd say those are probably the warmest. Sometimes henna pulls warm on people, and indigo. If you're using one of those contours and then you put bronzer and you're like, oh, that's just too much, you don't have to use both. I sometimes will grab that warmer contour when I want to just do a one and done. Oh gosh, contouring with this light is going to be difficult. All right, let's try this side first. I think I picked up too much on my brush. It is very, very, it's very soft. I barely touch it. Man, it makes it easy to blend though. Just like tap, tap, tap. Now I might get in my office and be like, whoa, Sarah. Because I can't see anything on camera. I can't even block the light. Man, you can see texture in this light. We all have it. No matter how good our skincare routines are, it's normal. I just had to say that. Normal. Don't anyone ever let them tell you it's not. You can live in a day of Photoshop. If you've ever seen what the pictures look like before the magazine Photoshopper got a hold of it, or the marketing whatever, it's incredible. Okay, I'm not gonna do nose or anything. Obviously I would not do that if I was in Carline. So now I'm even, got a little bit of bronze. You could easily just grab your bronzer instead and do that. Man, I can tell mine are super soft from how glowy they look. So yeah, gonna skip that. I got my brows and my face. Let's go ahead and let's take off excess real quick. So I showed this trick over on Instagram last week, and some people are like, oh, I've never seen that before. So it's really nice. I like to keep these bad boys in my car anyway, because I feel like sometimes it's in the car when we're looking in this kind of mirror that we're like, oh my gosh, or feel like we look too shiny or oily or whatever, especially if you're looking about midday and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, my makeup looked awesome in my bathroom at 8 a.m. under artificial lighting, and now it's like I can see what it looks like in natural light. And do you guys realize how much your oil production in your skin, it ramps up about 1 p.m. So that is normal for everyone, whether you have oily skin or not. So you might find at lunchtime you need to grab one of these shine papers, or you might be more like me and I'm like, okay, it's usually like before my kids' games that night where I just take one and I kind of just take off a little excess and it works wonders. But if you're in the car and you don't have anything, a dry perfector works really well to also absorb oil. So if it's dry, and obviously a dry perfector, in my opinion, doesn't remove excess product, but it will help blur some lines. Okay, so you can still use it, especially if you tend to crease, it will kind of still help. But I'm gonna use one of the Seint Shine papers. I'm always amazed at how much this takes off. It's almost like fun for me too. And granted, I don't have oily skin, but this is a cream product, mind you. And so obviously it's gonna take off some product. I don't know if you can see because these are kind of transparent. It's gonna take off some product no matter what, no matter how light of a hand. But I like to use it my pain point areas, which is gonna be, in that I can actually see excess product there. And you can feel it. What I love about that is you can feel, like, it feels tacky. This side doesn't feel tacky anymore. That means it did its job. So my pain point areas are definitely like this here, and then under the eyes, obviously, because I always have to set there. And so sides of the nose, right in between my brows for some reason. And then again, I'm gonna hit anywhere I might crease or be shiny. So for me, that's like here, here, crease here, shiny, shiny. And once I do that, I'm like, okay, that doesn't look too bad, right? Like I didn't even use the perfector, which I know is my holy grail, but this saves me in a pinch. But if you're really heavy-handed and you try to get away with just using this, it might not be enough, okay? So I don't want to say like, oh, you only need this. I have been training myself on knowing how much product to add to my face for 6 years. And about the first 2 years, I was applying way more than I needed. And I kid you not, it took me that long before I really realized it. And then these last 2 years are when I really am like, okay, I don't need much at all. Like, less is better. And it really, that's how I apply now. So this brush will help you be able to use this method. If you're using the buff brush and doing full coverage, I don't recommend that. I would say grab your perfector and at least maybe try a setting spray or something in the car, because building up to full coverage is really hard to not feel, not get any creasing at all, in my opinion. So just my 2 cents. Okay, now that our full face is pretty much done, I'm gonna go ahead and set that. I always want to remove excess there, because otherwise I get creasing here so bad in all those beautiful fine lines. So I'm gonna go ahead. Oh no, my powder broke a little bit more. I know it's almost gone anyway, but it's starting to give up on me here. So I'm just gonna tap in with my powder brush. Now, if I did not have my brush, I have been known to use my perfector for my powder. It is not my favorite way. I would rather just grab this brush, because I can literally do this, and this is way easier, in my opinion, to make sure I have all day, no creasing. And it gives me the like insurance policy. Like, I need my vanilla dust. I need it. Then I can go in with a lip and cheek. I am still in the throes of summer. I am not ready to bring out the fall tones quite yet, even though I really think I'll be wearing Jolene all fall because it's that good. So let's try it, shall we? Oh gosh, I wonder how soft these are. Quick tip, if you ever leave your makeup in the car, just make sure it is sitting flat as possible, not in a seat going like this, and know that the first thing that will melt, will be a glossy lip and cheek. It's like they have lower melting points. Little chemistry in me. It will melt first, I promise, and then it will go on everything else. Sometimes the rest of them are perfectly fine, but that dang glossy one. So you can put all satins in there. You can probably tell by looking at mine. I only have two satins, because gloss is my vibe. So, but just know, oh gosh, they get real soft real quick. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of, I guess Jolene is a matte. It just has that beautiful shimmer. I'm gonna use a little bit of Jolene. I'll be honest, the hardest part of getting ready in the car is the lighting. You would think that because it's got daylight on all sides, like it would. I wonder if this would help. Daylight on all sides. Oh, that might work a little bit better. I opened my sunroof. It would like help, but it actually, like, you still get all of these shadows from the contours of your face that it is so hard to see. It is better than your bathroom interior lighting though if you have like those old incandescent bulbs that look orange and make you look orange. At least daylight will show you true color, but it also sometimes shows you everything else like texture and a mustache and all those things too, right? Okay, I'm gonna attempt to top it with Sunshine State, of course. Man, it's soft. Sunshine State is one of my tricks for if you want to skip illuminator, you don't need it when you have it. Oh man, I put a lot over here. I told you guys it's very, very soft. But because of that glow, I don't think you really need both. So that'll save you a step. I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips, actually balm. If I was really getting ready in the car line, I wouldn't line my lips. But my lips need a liner, if at all possible. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Melody, which is still available till I think the end of September, and a little bit of Jolene. Well, while supplies last, because August is already gone, unfortunately. I kind of wanted to mix those two because I don't think I have yet. And then again, top it with Sunshine State. And once again, I use my fingers when I said, don't do that because you have nothing to wipe it on. That's why I packed that multitasker. And then I forget because it's just like habit. Okay, we already did our brows, so let's just do a quick eye look. Usually when I'm doing eyes in the car, I will do the easiest shade ever to just do like, I'll do a 2-shade look or possibly a 3 if I'm feeling fancy, which is Bubba. Okay, eyeshadow brush in the crease. I feel like I could throw this on. It's not so dark that it's going to be easy to mess up. Like Sedona, I have to be a little bit more careful with blending. This one gives me just enough definition. If you don't like warm shades, try basic, but Bubba's almost like using bronzer on your eyes. It just gives a little bit of warmth, and there's something about that warm look. It looks good on everyone, even if you think you can't pull it off, I promise. And then same color. To halo. If you want to be fancy, you can take a little bit of Drift or Sabrina or whatever your favorite highlight shade. Okay, you can even use the side of your brush and put a little bit on your lid to add light. And that is my 2-color like daily go-to. If you want to step it up a little bit more, I would say Peppa or Crush. Oh, I said don't use your fingers. I was about to use my fingers. I'm just gonna pick up a brush. Let's do Peppa. A little bit more shimmer on the lid. And then there's nothing worse, especially if somebody else is driving and you are in the car trying to put on your makeup, than trying to put on eyeliner in the car, or mascara for that matter, while the car is moving. So what I tend to do is grab the multitasker and go in for that more messy look. You can't mess that up as easily, right? So either Cocoa or Revival or Finn are usually my go-tos. These are all my go-tos for the most part that are always in my compact. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Revival just on the corner of my brush. Let's see if I can do, no, I don't think I can see. And I'm just going to kind of pull that along the lash line, just enough to kind of add a little bit more definition, because I feel like, maybe it's just the camera, I feel like my lashes look thin. And I know they're not, because they're not real. These are the feathers from Lilac Street. I've been wearing these on repeat lately. And one thing I didn't do that I recommend doing is, see how my top layer is all my highlights, contours, bronzers. Putting your eyeshadow on the top layer makes it so much easier, because I feel like the only thing you truly really need your mirror for, and you're dipping in a lot for, is your eyeshadows. And so I used to always do that. I haven't done it because I haven't been traveling with my compact in a while, but now that sports are full-fledged, summer's over, it's time to reorganize my compact. All right, friends, I think that's finally it, because we're acting like we don't have a setting spray. We set with powder, quick eyes. I didn't even put on mascara, but put on a little bit of lower lash mascara, and we are good to go. I know I talked a lot longer than a quick 5-minute face, but hopefully it gave you some tips and tricks to implement the next time you need to do a fast face. Concentrate on those areas that you want to focus on, whether that's brows, whether that's maybe your eye makeup. Maybe you don't leave the house without having your mascara on. Maybe you do your lashes first, just to make sure you get that done, because I know that is a time-consuming thing as well. All of my shades are, see those glosses starting to melt? I think that's my cue to go inside in some air conditioning. So happy back to school for all of you guys. Almost fall. The end is near. Some of you might not appreciate that, but fall is my favorite, so I'm getting excited about it. If you're needing help with your 3D foundation from Seint or Demi, or anything regarding your color match, or if you're needing help troubleshooting, or even putting together your perfect car compact, just let me know. My color match request is in the drop box below the video, and also in the pinned comment. I'd be happy to help you out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week. Love you. Bye.